Drop Top. Let's talk about that a little bit. That was about 92, 93?
That was 93.
Okay. What was the influence that brought you to that particular song?
I ain't even gonna lie, man. Filthy Rich, a.k.a. Rich Tycoon. I was staying in these apartments in Federal Way, and there was this fan that would always, like, he found out I lived there, and he would come over all the time and talk to me. And he was just excited to be able to talk to a member of the Mixx crew. And he was always telling me about this rapper, his friend, back home in the Bay. And I was like, really? He was like, he's tight. I'm telling you, you got to meet him. He's coming up here. This dude, Peter, was such a fan that he would just call me and say, I got something for you. And I'd be like, what is it? And he'll meet me and have a shirt with my name on it. I thought it was awkward. I'm like, this dude is crazy. But he was cool.
Yeah.
And he brought this dude up and he told me he want me to hear him. So I said, okay, cool. And I heard dude, and he was rapping. He had a dope voice. And he had this song called Cat Burglar. And I was like, yeah, his voice is dope. And then about maybe 2 weeks after that, I had talked to dude on the phone, and I told him, he said he wanted to come back up here. So he came back up here, and I said, yeah, come up here, man. We'll do some music. He stayed with me for about maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And we just riding around. I had a new girlfriend, and she had a friend, and we would just hang out. That's all we would do every day. And then about 8 days, Rich was just like, hey, man, are we ever going to do music? The studio's available at Mixx's house anytime. But I was comfortable. I was getting the Mixx payments, and it was just like I didn't have to rap. But I was like, yeah, we're going to do something. And then I called Mixx. I said, yo, we need to come in the studio. And dude was serious. We went to the studio. We picked up Camille, the girl that sang the hook.
Right.
We went up to the studio. We didn't have no structure to the song. It wasn't like now where people write first and they go and they make a song. We didn't we didn't have the beat. I think Eugenius made the beat, and then we went up to the studio. He played us some tracks, and I was like, yo, that's dope. And then we kind of wrote our verses in the studio, and Rich did his verse. I did my verse. And Camille sang the hook, and we had no plan for the song.
Okay. Is that somebody's phone?
Yeah, it's mine, but that's real, right? Keep that.
Okay,
Come on.
but you want to turn it off now?
I wanted to hear the song, to be honest with you. Let's see it real quick. So, are we back rolling?
Yeah.
Anyway. So we did the song, man. We had no plan for the song. It wasn't like there was something on the table. Ricardo, Mixx's manager, took the song and presented it to Rick Rubin.
Okay.
Rick Rubin was like, yo, because I guess Mixx had this deal where he could put out a compilation because that was real, that was popular.
Right.
And he could sign 2 artists. One artist at his discretion and the other one mutually, agreed upon with Rick Rubin and Mixx. And Rick was like, yo, let's put a compilation together and let's use this song as a single.
Oh.
So they did a singles deal with me. I was excited. I just got a call by Ricardo saying, yo, Rick want to use your song as a single for Seattle the Dark Side. And I said, yo, that's dope. That's what's up. So Ricardo went and got other artists to put on the record. And we was moving. I got a check for like 20 grand. And I remember this check because I was like, yo, back then 20 grand was like, yo, I just got 20 grand for this one song. Well, it was 2 songs. It was Drop Top and it was Little Oaks. But Drop Top was the single. And then they put like another 35 grand into the video.
Wow.
And then Rich stayed here. And we cut the video. We did everything. And then Rick Rubin was going to put it out, and he was like, yo, wait a minute, we got a problem. And they were like, well, what's the problem? And he was like, man, we're going to put this single out on E-Dawg, but we don't got him signed as a record. Yeah. He's like, why would I blow him up and then somebody else can come sign him? So then we went to a whole bunch of negotiations or whatever. That's how Drop Top ended up.
So what do you think was the most important song because I know you've done some more stuff with Filthy, you've done some other compilations with other people. What is the what song to you means the most out of everything that you've done in your career so far? Which one is the most influential to E-Dawg? Which one do you think? Do you have one?
I mean, there was hella songs I've done that had meanings to it that I just never even put out, or you know, the industry wasn't that easy back then, so I can't really say something I put out. But I released something a few years ago called "It's Not Easy," and it was my, you know, it was touchy because you know, I put my heart behind it, and yeah, probably "It's Not Easy."
Platinum, don't see me in people's homes, and the only time you hear me now is on somebody's phone. On some
So you were talking about negotiations with Rick Rubin. Can you explain that a little bit more and how that all went down?
So he felt like, why would I put this single out? And the crazy thing is, the summertime, we missed the deadline, and the summertime was, you know, it was in the middle of the summer, so it was very important to get this record out. Because of the summertime, and it's a summertime song. And he felt, you know, I can't put this single out and blow dude up and he go to another label. So we started negotiations with a 3-album deal. First album, they offered me a nice chunk of change. I mean,
but you have to complete 2 more.
Win the lottery type thing.
Right.
And we were negotiating. It was a great offer. But me not knowing the business, you know,
being young and
letting the lawyers and managers and stuff like that, they were hip to getting those type of checks. Those checks wasn't nothing to them, it was crumbs. But for me, it was a great, you know, offer.
Yeah, sure.
And when Rick offered me the money, of course, I'm leaning on my team. And they looked at it and was like, yo, I think we can get an extra, you know, he offered $70,000. They said, I think we can get 80.
For the 3-album deal.
I think it was 80 or 90. It was 90. They said, I think we can get 90.
Wow.
And rest in peace, Kevin Davis, the lawyer for Mixx and Serena Williams and them. He was my lawyer at that time, and he was like, yeah, I think we should go for 90 because you got to live while you're making the record. Because back then, you know, the record budgets was high too, so you're going to spend about $40,000-$50,000 just creating the record.
Right.
And I was like, man, damn, I want to take this money, you know, but, you know, again, I'm leaning on my team, and they went and they asked the label for 90. Rick Rubin came back and approved it and said, okay, well, let's just get it rolling. We need to hurry to get this single out.
For the summer.
Because at this time, they're holding the video and everything. Turned around, he said, yeah. And then the lawyer said, you know, I just thought about it. I think we should just go for an even 100. They asked for 100. And I was waiting. And Ricardo, the manager, he didn't want to disappoint me. You know, he really didn't. So it was like pump faking, you know. I said, yo, did they hit back? Nah, man, they ain't said nothing yet.
Was he trying to play like a devil's advocate per se to make?
Nah, he was just he was just probably hoping that we had another opportunity to, you know, negotiate and maybe take the 90 or take the lower end. But so at the end of the day, you know, we're moving forward. I'm registering all my paperwork and everything for the single to come out. And I happened to go to the office because Rhyme Cartel had an office, which was at Ricardo's house. And I'm sitting in the office, and Ricardo went downstairs to do something, and I forgot what I was doing, but I seen my name on a piece of paper. And it was, I slipped the paper kind of out a little bit, and there was a letter from Warner Brothers, and it was like, Rick Rubin doesn't want to discuss the E-Dawg deal no longer. He wants to move on. And it hurt me.
That was it.
I was like, yo, just as fast as a dream can come, as fast as a dream can go. But we still had the single to come out. So we put the single out, and the single took off. It debuted on the Billboard. MTV picked it up. BET said it's just another gangster with a jerry curl like Eazy-E. They turned it down. The Box picked it up. And then once MTV started playing the video more, BET played the video. And then it was feeling good. I'd go places. People recognized me from the TV, whatever. And everything was cool. But what I didn't agree on, which now that I got older, is they wanted the promotional thing back then. Labels would always want to take a story and blow it up. It had nothing to do with your music, but they wanted to blow the story up. And they highlighted the fact that I got shot. And they had this big newspaper article throughout Chicago Times, throughout all these newspaper articles, where they put me out as this gangster that's been shot before.
Did that hurt?
I mean, back then,
did you care?
I did think about it. I used to always go, what that got to do with anything?
Right.
They always talk about it in the interview like they preset it. And it was just like, yo, people in Chicago ain't going to hear about somebody getting shot. People in LA don't care. Believe it or not, I didn't sell a lot of records on the West Coast. My biggest market with Drop Top was Philadelphia.
Really?
Yeah. So LA just wasn't buying it. They was just like, who's this dude from Seattle talking about, is there even black people in Seattle? You know what I mean? So it was kind of like, it was kind of corny. But anyway, the summer was coming to an end. And people were playing the record. I was on the Sway show, all these shows. I mean, I was in the Bay hosting their video shows. I was going all over, doing everything I'm supposed to be doing to push this record. And then the man, you can just see it. It's like it's coming to an end, you know. And you're just now you're feeding because you got a taste of the money. So now you're like, yo, what's next? What's next? And I couldn't I couldn't get the fire out of Mixx, you know, because he had a lot of leverage back then. But even then, you know, we give platinum artists too much credit. You know, back then he had a machine working for him. He wasn't independent.
No.
So it wasn't like Mixx knew how to make a record happen at another label, right? We start taking meetings with Relativity, all kinds of the labels, and they would give Mixx the window. They would say, yo, what do you want to do, Mixx? Who do you want to put out first? What do you want to do? They would do a label deal. Right. But again, you know, you can't be hungry and fast to jump to something if you never really did it from ground up.
Right.
We let a lot of opportunities slip, you know, and I always felt in safe hands because I told Mixx, I mean, we had I was depressed in LA. I think we was doing something, man, in LA. It wasn't Arsenio, but it was something, and we was at the Nico, and I approached Ricardo because I was mad. And I was like, yo, man, this is bull. You know, is Mixx gonna do this or not? I mean, and he's like, man, he said he's gonna sign you regardless to just the Rhyme Cartel imprint. And I'm like, man, he need to put his money where his mouth is. Then.
Sure.
So I made Mixx put some money in my hand. I didn't make him, but I told him this is the deal. If you want me to stay and not go, you know, pursue other people, I was like, you need to do something. And he was like, okay, when we get back to the house, I'll write you a check. Got back to the house, he wrote me a check. I got motivated. I went in the studio with Funk Daddy. I did a whole record with Funk Daddy. We did a whole 13-song album. I took it to Mixx, and he was like, yo, this is dope, whatever. And I said, yo, I went to Pro Tape, because, you know, back then you sent the demos out. And I put his name on the demo, and I put the songs on there, had it all professionally done. And I took it up to Mixx's house, had a box of 100. That's enough to send out to the labels. And to make a long story short, I don't think those tapes ever made it out. And then after that happened, man, I was working with different producers, man, and I just started going to LA. I started working with Sir Jinx, you know, was producing all Ice Cube stuff. Right. I got cool with Jinx, man, and we were just working. I would do albums, and he would put me on stuff, and then everybody in LA, like, that were signed to Priority or a group, they were trying to get me in the group. So they all would be like, yo, you should move to LA and just get in the group. And I would be like, man, that sounds lovely because you guys are signed. Right. Everybody's got And stuff. I always was into the money, though, man. I was like, how y'all going to try to put me in the group after you get the signing bonus? Now the signing bonus is split.
See, it sounds like at that point in the game, you had already kind of caught on to some of the...
I was stuck on the wrong side of the fence. I should have just got my foot wet, you know, more, and then went and jumped into some money. Because now I know now that you can build the value without taking the money early and then go get everything plus more. But back then I was just like, man, I got to pay my rent. Because when I left the Rhyme Cartel imprint, I had to pay my own bills. When I was with Rhyme Cartel, Mixx paid everybody's bills. Right. So I'm like, I'm fiending for a position. And I'm turning down these deals, and I'm looking for my own deal. And then I got a call from, this is when my experience kicked in. I got a call from this dude out of the blue, that's Strange, one of the producers from Mixx's Click, got a hold of one of my songs, and he said, yo, I want to sign you. He said, how much do you want?
Switches for the 3-wheel motion. Get food sprung while I'm coasting. Got my 9 Glock for the jackers. Nickname me D.O.G. a gat packer. Can't get caught slipping cause I might get a